Hi guys. So I wanted to do another topic, but then I kind of came across this term that I wasn't too sure about. So, title of this one's What in the Ever Loving God is Gaslighting and Where Did It Come From? I allegedly got out of a bad relationship. Like, it wasn't all bad, but there were aspects of emotional abuse that I'm still working through therapy with. And a thing that keeps getting brought up is gaslighting. Well, what is it? Where did it come from? What does it mean? So, what I found out in my extensive research, and I say extensive because there's a lot of people who do a lot more research, but I've done just probably a smaller amount of research, more or less to help my curiosity with what it is. So, gaslighting came from a play where it guess it got turned into a movie not too far after, but it's where husband and wife, husband's a criminal, and in order to get away with his crimes, he manipulates the environment around his wife, and every time she notices a change, he says, "Oh no, that's not true. It's the exact same." And if you haven't seen that play or that movie, I don't blame you. But if you ever watched that French film Amelie, where, she's a sweet little French girl, tries to do good things, and one way is she gets back at this mean grocer who's very mean to one of his employees, and she like makes his shoes 2 sizes too small. She changes his doorknob. She changes his number. And by the end of that whole scenario, the man's left questioning, like, is, am I going crazy? And again, this was something that really left me baffled because I actually felt like I was living that, and not only within my last relationship, but in a way, my childhood as well. So I'm going to go through 10 examples that a gaslighter or someone who can gaslight has done. If you've said these, don't freak out. Like, we all have the potential to be gaslighters. Doesn't necessarily mean you're a narcissist. I'll go over that too. Apparently, narcissism has a big thing with manipulation. Again, all new information to me. My mind's a little blown. So, again, if you felt like you've done this and you think that I'm attacking you, I'm not. I'm just giving out some clear information that I found that I think should be shared and known across the world because, oh my goodness, we need to change some things. Anyways, if you've ever heard these, just, want you to think about it and want you to really think about, if you have heard these things and how we go about changing this in our lives. So, number one, what did I do to you? Now, the person who asks you this, it could be unintentional, like, oh, you bumped into someone, and you say they knocked a coffee on them, and, it's like, oh, shoot, what did I do? Well, that's fair, that's innocent. But let's say it's a brother or sister, and, they, over years, have been nitpicking at you, or, like, slap you off the back of the head, and one day you, like, yell, stop it! And they're like, what did I do to you? And it's like, what'd you do to me? Well, that's a clear example. Number two, everyone around you isn't the problem. The problem is you. That one hits me pretty hard because that's something that I've heard so much. So, yeah, that one stung a bit for me. 3, I'm sorry you feel that way. Now, that one was really triggering for me because that is a way to put the blame back on you. They're saying they're sorry for your feelings, but they are not taking any kind of accountability for what they did to bring up those feelings in you. 4 would be, I don't remember saying that. You made that up. So, unless you have proof, text message. That's why I really like text message would help me in my trying to defend myself in my past relationship was, it's written right here. You said it right there. Well, that's not what I meant, which is even worse because I swear anything that can be written or said can be manipulated in any way, shape, or form, which is another characteristic of someone who gaslights. Moving on. Um, it's your anxiety that made me do the things that I do. Now, this is just meant to excuse their actions, not meant to say sorry or anything about it, just it's your fault, again, flipping it back on you. Number 6, you need help. Oh my word. That is the biggest one that has always hit me. You need help. We all need help. So just saying you need help is really triggering and almost sounds aggressive, at least in my understanding of it. Let me know if you think any differently. Next one would be it's your fault. Now, I remember being in some situations where I would ask my partner, like, hey, can you, bring this to me? Like, I was in the hospital, so I asked him, like, hey, can you bring me shampoo and conditioner? It's underneath my sink. And he goes, I couldn't see it. It's such a mess. If you wanted me to get it for you, then you should have been cleaner. And I understood that, but what was really hard was that I was in a hospital for about a week, and I'm in there having our child, and I asked for shampoo and conditioner and a towel because the towels at the hospital are basically kitchen towels. So he told me no, that it was my fault that he couldn't find anything. But the thing that really upset me was that his sister found it. She didn't live there with us. She never knew where any of my stuff was, but she found it. And his excuse was, it was your fault because you are a mess. And that was something that I cried about for a really long time in the hospital because I just wanted a little bit of comfort from home. And I was denied that because I was a mess, and which I'm not going to deny. I am disorganized at times. And at that time, I was very disorganized. I'll own that. But I found myself having to say I'm sorry to him because I put him under such stress. At the moment that he brought me all the things that I had asked for, which he hadn't, he brought me a thing that I asked for. I hadn't seen anyone that I personally knew, except for hospital staff, in about 72 hours, and he came, and I was upset, tired, and then I was told I didn't deserve the things that I asked for because I am a mess. I thought if you cared about someone and you couldn't find them, that you'd stop at a store and you'd pick it up. There'd be no excuse to not help your partner. But he told me because of the way I get anxious or I get triggered that he wasn't going to be nice to me anymore because I essentially drove him to not really care about me because I reacted badly to many things. So that was a bit of a tangent. I'm going to move on. This one is also really hard, is you're too emotional. And instead of hearing that, I kept hearing you're too sensitive. God, why'd I have to be so sensitive? I was just joking. And, the things that hurt me about jokes is that there's always a grain of truth, and that's why they're funny. But, man, I hated being told you're too sensitive. And so it's like, yeah, okay, sorry, I'm sensitive. Please don't joke around me anymore, I guess. I had to say that too. 9, it's not that big of a deal. Now, back to that hospital situation I told you. He told me, it's not that big of a deal. You'll be fine. The hospital supplies you with everything you need. If you've ever been in a hospital, that stuff just tangles up your hair, your skin gets dry, you don't feel clean, the towels don't fit around you, especially if you're 7 months pregnant. So, yeah, it's not that big of a deal. I don't know why you're that angry at me. I have a life to live, Jasmine. You need to let go of this. So, of course, I apologized for my reaction. Number 10, Why are you so defensive all the time? You're attacking me. Let me tell you how triggering that whole statement is for me. The whole point of that statement is for when you challenge your partner, person, whoever. If you challenge whoever does this to you, they do that to flip the conversation and make it your fault. So, I had to sit there, hey, look, I'm in the hospital having our child. Like, I'm so sorry that this puts you in a bad spot, but I'm I'm just I'm stressed. I'm scared. You're not here. So, like, again, I'm so sorry that you're stressed out about my well being. I don't know. But do you notice a trend from what I'm saying? I'm apologizing a lot. In almost every single statement I give, I was apologizing. And what killed me is that I didn't realize this. I didn't realize this until I ended up getting arrested after a mental breakdown. And it was a lot of, I don't know why you see things this way. You're so negative. All you do is live in survival mode. Because I grew up in an abusive home. I'm always in survival mode. So I just want you to thrive. I don't know why you can't trust me. No, I didn't do that. I didn't say that. You're just looking too deep into it. No, I didn't tell her that. That's crazy. Your text messages say it clearly. Well, I don't know why you dug through my things. Dug through my messages. There's never an apology. There's never a thank you for doing the things that I asked for. There was never any kind of appreciation, uplifting. And that's another part of a gaslighter, is that they essentially break down your confidence and make you dependent on them. What I found myself after a couple of years of being with this person is I needed their validation for everything. I don't know. Throughout my past, I just always wanted to know that what I was doing was right. And I remember telling him that I couldn't be with him because he was not Christian. And that sounds small-minded of me. I understand that. It was just a standard that I had set for myself. I did ministry, and the reason why I said it sounds small-minded is because I was told it was small-minded. It took him 8 months to get me to agree to a date. I thought that he was courting me. I don't know. I turned it into something that it really clearly wasn't in my mind. Instead of hearing no, letting me be disappointed, letting him be disappointed and moving on, he fought me. He sent me messages on messages upon messages about how I wasn't giving him a fair shot. I told him it wasn't the fact that he just wasn't Christian, it was how he spoke. I worked with children. I didn't want someone who just let the F words slip out every now and then. Then it becomes, second nature for me because you're saying it all the time, and then I'll start saying it. And it happened with other terms too. I picked them up. I stopped caring. I stopped fighting. I, in a sense, felt flattered that someone wanted me that badly. So whenever things got really bad, whenever it was, you really hurt me, why was it okay for you to hurt me? Well, your reaction just makes it invalid for you to even bring this up to me. Never an apology. Never I care about you. I'm sorry I hurt you. It was always a, this is your fault. If you were to be better to me, I wouldn't need to do this. And honestly, I wish that I could say that this was new to me, but it wasn't. I grew up with that. I grew up with, hey mom, I just want to hang out with you some more. Well, I work 40 hours a week. I need my alone time. I don't know why you're so sensitive and so needy towards me. Literal sentences that replay in my mind from my childhood. So, hearing them from someone I shared my life with was really just like, it is just me. I am the problem. And so part of me wonders if I was sought out for that. My self-esteem was low enough. My need for validation was high enough. Was I just the right amount of damaged that someone who does have a narcissistic personality wanted? I don't know. Or was the person that I was with made their own mistakes? Because I made mine too. Honestly, I'm lost and I'm still learning. And this is all new information to me. Gaslighting is not a term in the DSM, but the construct is recognized because the construct is a form of manipulation. If you've ever thought, like, wow, I would be questioning my reality all the time. It's kind of like the show Westworld. Like, if you ever saw that, the robots are like, wait, what's real? What's not? Is this a memory? Is this true? You're kind of trying to follow along. Like, wait, what's happening? I constantly questioned if I was just seeing things badly because I was brought up in an abusive home. It's just me. I'm just negative. I see things in a way darker view than everybody else. I have a darker sense of humor. I can deal with somebody making fun of me for X amount of years. I can laugh it off. It's not new to me. So, I don't know. If anybody else has any kinds of examples of what gaslighting is, I would really like to hear from you because this is really new. The only way out that I learned, and I do want to say a quick thank you to those around me who supported me because I was constantly going to them. I would actually end up having to film our arguments and send and say, was I wrong? And I wasn't looking for them to be like, oh my gosh, Jasmine, this sucks, when you need to get out. I wasn't looking for that. I was looking for, what did I do wrong? Because at the end of our arguments, it would be, you're the reason I'm miserable. You're the reason I have no money. You're the reason that I yelled at you. You're the reason why I can't love you. And so I had to ask, did I do this? Am I this way? So I didn't know that the biggest thing is someone who does gaslight does isolate you. And that's another thing that I really struggled with in my relationship, was that none of my friends wanted to stay around me anymore. And I don't have an issue keeping long-time friendships. I've had friends since I was in middle school, elementary, that I still have to this day. However, a big portion of them no longer talk to me. And I didn't understand what that was. And my partner had told me, well, they walked away from you because you're just negative, you're mean, you need to fix yourself because nobody can stand to be around you. And so to this day, I'm honestly wondering, how bad am I? How bad am I? And can somebody tell me, because I'm struggling to figure it out. I have a temper, I'm vindictive, I do try to think of the negative things just so I'm prepared. It's more of a survival strategy than it is anything else. So I kept talking to my friends, do I do this? Am I that bad? I talk to you every day. You know me. Am I this way? And you know who you are, all of you, who said, no, you're not that way. No, you're not crazy. No, he's being crazy. They literally saved my life, because there's a lot of times I wanted to give up on life in general, because I thought, if I am this bad, if I make just one person this miserable, something is deeply wrong with me, and I do not have the right to make someone I love that much suffer this much. So when I say these people saved me, I mean, they saved me. Because a big thing is controlling the information. I was only getting my validation from my partner. My family, I'd moved back in with them and they said, "Your confidence is coming back. We're so happy to see you this way again." I went back to move in with my partner and they're like, "Where did you go again? Your confidence is gone. You're not who you used to be." Everybody told me. But I was convinced that maybe they just didn't understand him. He's not that bad. He's amazing. You guys are seeing him in a negative light. It took a long time to learn it wasn't a negative light. It was him. I was looking at him through rose-colored glasses. And then I hung on to him because I was told that nobody else would fight for me the way he fought for me. At this moment, I don't think that stands to be true. I think that if anybody else has walked through what I've walked through, getting out and being able to be yourself is going to be the best version of yourself. Because unfortunately, a big part of me still misses my partner. I miss the fun times we had together, and I miss all the beautiful memories we shared. However, all those beautiful memories are just quieted by the pain of all those lies I was told. So, if anybody shares this, if anyone is hit with, "Wow, I understand those symptoms," please message me. Let me know, because I'm still struggling to understand this. And I had to say something about it because it's so new to me that even looking for information on the subject, it was a little touchy, just because it's not recognized as a scientific term. But like I said, the manipulation's real. So call out manipulation when manipulation is there, and don't depend on one person for your value, your worth, your validation. I'd say be involved with groups of people. You do it with work, you do it with school, you do it with church if you go to church, or you go to, synagogues, or, disc golf, or you play Magic the Gathering, Ask someone, is this true? Do you believe this to be true? Just ask. If you feel like one repeating message is being drilled into your mind, seek a second opinion. Much like my mental health video, always seek a second opinion. I think there is a fine line between needing validation and genuinely checking to see if the information that is given to you is 100% solid truth. So yeah, do your digging, defend yourself, guard your heart. Don't stop loving the world, but just be careful. And when you see some actions, please be brave enough to call them out, and don't lose your resolve. Know what's right. Another thing is you question what's right and wrong. So it's another symptom. I hope that maybe you learned something that I learned. Yeah. See you next time.